Hey, what's up guys? It's Tom Noah from Atomic Enrollment. Today I'm going to be going over a training on how you optimize the back end for ROI for the MiniWebinar campaigns. More specifically, your sales process and your sales strategy on the back end for your admissions/sales team. So to start, let me give you some background on the MiniWebinar campaign. So the MiniWebinar is a campaign format we developed, and it's the best way to convert people who don't know you and have them take a high leverage action, such as book a meeting with your team. So here's an example of a mini webinar related to a data analyst program. So here's the actual mini webinar where we explain the program, do a deep dive. Mini webinars are anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes long. We show you how to build it, and then take a high leverage action by booking a meeting with someone on your team. Now, we're going to be talking today about how you optimize once the meeting is booked. So I just showed you what a mini webinar is, but let me show you here the entire high level view of the campaign. So, we're using content first ad strategies to bring qualified prospects and people through the ad. So people click through the ad from a variety of channels we think is best, and then they are driven to the mini webinar. They watch the video, get educated on what your program is, and they take a high leverage action by booking a meeting to speak to someone on your team, or even speak to you. And then they show up for the meeting, and then you have to enroll them. So today we're gonna be talking about things you guys can do on your end right here to optimize this part of the process. But first, I want to start with something very important, which is the mindset. You are there to guide someone on one of the perhaps biggest decisions of their life, to truly live out their full potential of their life, of who they were meant to be and who they want to become. You have direct control of how they can possibly live their life for the next X amount of years, 10, 20, 30 years, and directly affect their happiness, their future families and generations. Someone once said, with great power comes great responsibility. So you have to do everything in your power to help guide these people towards the right decision. So every call you do with them, every email you send out to them, every text message you send out to them, every touch point is there so you can help change their life, truly. Sometimes people don't know what's best for them, and this is when you have to nudge them and show them that there's a better path. And that's where you guys come in, which is the admissions or sales team. So now let's talk about a couple tactical things. First and foremost, you guys need to have caller ID installed if you're calling from your phones. Whether it's your personal phone or your company phones, there needs to be caller ID in place. I know it's simple, but something overlooked a lot of the time. So make sure your company or organization name shows up when you call the prospect. And it shouldn't even be your salesperson's name. It should be the organization name so they know, oh, okay, this is the company I was supposed to speak with. Make sure email and text reminders are in place. I know a lot of you guys do this, but there's 4 things specifically you need to do. Once a meeting is booked, immediately there's a confirmation email that goes out. Next, there's a text message that should go out about 30 minutes later after a meeting is booked. This text message could be automated, and in this text, it should say like, hey X person, we're looking forward to meeting you, but in the meantime, you could reply back with any questions here via text. Our team will respond back to you through text. That way you can get any pressing messages out the way and answered for them, because there's a lot of things that could happen in between the time someone books a call and the time the call actually happens. So during that time, the prospect can research other programs, talk to other people, talk to other programs. So that way you want to keep the rapport going even while the call is waiting to happen. And even better, you can even get these people through text to engage with them, answer any questions, and even through text, get them on a meeting before the scheduled time that they booked for. That way you treat that call as the initial call, you use that booked meeting as the follow-up call. Make sure a calendar invite is auto-generated, or to the least, manually sent. That way it's on their calendar and the reminders go out automatically as well. I know HubSpot Meetings does this pretty well. Next, make sure an email drip is in place from the moment a prospect books a meeting till even after the call is done. In those emails, you should be talking about how great your program is and what it does, but also successful case studies and alumni testimonials as well. Now, what do you do when you actually get on the call with the prospect? What are some good tips? So there's a couple things. Think about it. They're coming to talk to you because there's some pain point in their life and they want a big change in their life. So have a conversation with them. Imagine a friend came to you and was like, you know what? I'm gonna become an astronaut. You'd be like, okay, that sounds like a big change. Tell me what's going on. Did something happen? Like, what got you excited about this? How'd you even think about becoming an astronaut? Have you done the research? Where are you in the process? Like, are you going back to school? Like, what's going on in your head? So have a conversation with them. Next is build rapport with them. If there's any, common things that they have or things you want to, if there's any commonalities that you can build rapport with off the bat, like, maybe you guys are from the same area, or even you want to highlight some things and give them shout outs. So some of our clients talk to a lot of veterans, and veterans love it when you jump on the call and say, oh, you're a veteran? Oh, thank you so much for your service. And talk a little bit about the time they were in service, like what branch of the military were they in, things like that. They appreciate that. And then open up the conversation. Remember, it's a conversation. You're not there to sell them anything. And more importantly, don't be a robot. Don't read from a script and be a robot. They're talking to a human being. They jumped on a call to talk to a human being. So have a conversation with them. Ask them what got them curious about you guys. And then they'll talk about, what got them curious, why are they talking to you? And then a little bit after that, the next question you ask is, what stage of the process are you in? That way you know how to gear the conversation. Like, some people maybe just be exploring. So you give them a high level, those people a high level. Some people are at the point of being very close to pulling the trigger and making the decision. And at that point, you do a deep dive with them, talk about how the program's different, financing options, how the program is different from competitors, financing options, and other types of more in-depth questions. And last but not least, most importantly, you have to end the call with a call to action and a follow-up action. So for example, let's say the call is ending and next there's a public info session coming up. So the call to action there is, hey, X person, it was great talking to you today. I think good next steps is you coming to our info session, meeting the team, meeting the instructors, learning more about the curriculum, even speak and hear from our alumni, and perhaps even get them signed up. If you have an info session coming up, get them signed up on the spot when you're on the call. And then the follow-up action. So let's say the info session is on the 19th. How about we set up a follow-up call for the 20th or 21st? That way I can check in and see how you like the info session, what questions you had, and take it from there. Never just end the call with it hanging. Don't let them ever say, let me get back to you, let me think about it and do some research. I'll get back to you. And never be like, okay, great. I hope you hit me back up. Okay, so sometimes people book the meeting and they don't show up. Life happens, some things might have came up. And it's not even that they just are not interested. Sometimes it's true, but generally things have come up. Things might have came up. So 10 minutes into the scheduled meeting time, send them an email and ask them if they're showing up. If they still don't show up, this is when you send out a video text message. So straight from your phone, you can send them a video text message. Hey Joe, it's Tom from XYZ Company. It looks like we're scheduled for a meeting at this time, but you aren't able to make it. No worries at all. I know things happen. I just wanted to shoot you a quick text here, introduce myself, and I'll give you my number here. Just in case you have any questions, just feel free to reply back to this text. I'll shoot you an email as well, so you can reschedule the meeting for a better time, more convenient time for you. Look forward to connecting. All right, take care, bye. That way, they know who you are, and you keep the conversation warm going forward. These are really good processes to optimize and get the maximum ROI out of your MiniWebinar campaigns. I highly recommend you implement everything that we just talked about here today. All right, take care.